Well, I am not at a cemetery, folks. Not this time around. Where I'm at right now, however, is at the last battle location of the Civil War. I am at the Palmetto Ranch battlefield site. Battle that took place on May 12th and 13th of 1865 between Union and Confederate forces. And a lot of historians consider it the very last battle of the Civil War. It was a Confederate victory. And this area, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the American Battlefield Trust has 3 acres or 5 acres that they have purchased. And it is pretty much the same way it was when the battle took place. However, the little monuments they have here could use a little maintenance. There's a little platform there to see. And as you can see, this particular informational panel here is all but gone. I mean, there's nothing there. All right. There's a little sidewalk here that takes you to that little platform right over there. And here's another informational panel that they have here about the war. A lot of historians say that it was a battle that was really no need to be fought. However, if you look at the history of it, the story goes that the Union officer in charge wanted to have some kind of glory before it was completely all over. The story is in Vaqueros in Blue and Gray by Professor Jerry Thompson. And there is a monument right over here. And again, I guess they try to keep it as much, looking as much as possible the way it did back in the day of the conflict. The day of the war, the battle. Jesus, okay, I'm getting tongue-tied. But the monument right over here states, at this site, the last battle of the Civil War, known as Palmetto Hill, was fought by Confederate troops under Colonel John S. Rip Ford and Union forces on May 13th of 1865, 34 days after Lee's surrender at Appomattox Courthouse. Okay? And this is the location of the site right here. Here's a little platform that they have where you can look over the battlefield. There's nothing here as far as cannons or where the Union forces were at, where the Confederate forces were at. All right. I wish they'd do something with that, though. It'd be real nice. But the battlefield itself is definitely off the beaten path. It's on Highway 4, and if you, that's east of Brownsville. The battlefield is east of Brownsville. And if I were to keep going to the east, right now I'm facing west. But if I turn around, in that direction you have SpaceX. Okay? So, just wanted to throw this in here. Again, this is the location of the last battlefield of the American Civil War. It's also stated in Ken Burns' documentary, The Civil War. Okay, just to the east of the location that I just recorded is the actual battlefield marker. The Battle of Palmetto Ranch states the last land engagement of the Civil War was fought near this site on May 12th and 13th, 1865, 34 days after Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox. Colonel Theodore H. Barrett commanded federal troops on Brussels Island, 12 miles to the east. The Confederates occupied Fort Brown, 12 miles to the west, commanded by General James E. Slaughter and Colonel John S. Red Ford, whose troops had captured Fort Brown from the Federals in 1864. Ordered to recapture the fort, Lieutenant Colonel David Branson and 300 men advanced from Brussels Island. They won a skirmish with Confederate pickets on May 12th. Barrett reinforced Branson's troops with 200 men on May 13th and renewed the march to Fort Brown. Confederate cavalry held the Federals in check until Ford arrived with reinforcements that afternoon. Ford's artillery advanced and fired on the northern end of the Federal line while the cavalry charged. The Confederate right charged the southern end of the Federal line and captured part of the Union infantry. Barrett ordered a retreat toward the U.S. position at Brazos Island. While the Confederates reported no fatalities in the Battle of Palmetto Ranch, the Union forces reported 4 officers and 11 men killed, wounded, or missing. Okay. Last battle of the Civil War, Palmetto Ranch, Texas, east of Brownsville, Texas. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, that is it for now, folks.